I am.
Any comment, Mayor Beth?
Thank you. My comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
Who did you speak with?
Just wait and see.
Mayor Beth,
They will be leaving soon.
Mayor Beth, who did you speak with on the phone just now? Who did you speak with on the phone?
The head of customs.
Wow.
Frankly, it is outrageous and un-American that we have federal armed vehicles in our parks when nothing is going on in the parks. It's outrageous and un-American that the federal government seized our state's National Guard. It's outrageous and un-American that we have U.S. Marines who are trained to kill foreign soldiers overseas deployed in our American city. So here's the truth. There's no plan other than fear, chaos, and politics. Home Depot one day, a car wash the next. Who were in the park today were children. And I have to tell you, spending many years traveling into conflict areas, you know, it's the way a city looks before a coup. The administration is continuing what I have framed as an all-out assault, a military assault on our city.
What a disgrace, what's happening in MacArthur Park. What theater. On the 6-month anniversary, after all, of these fires. That's the message from the polluted heart of the President of the United States, the polluted heart of Stephen Miller. Those National Guard men and women that were out there protecting people are now being used as political pawns, out there on horsebacks running through soccer fields in the middle of the day, timed around announcements and events like this. It says everything you and I need to know about the state of mind of the President of the United States in this administration.
Hey everyone. Well, just off the floor, right now the Rayburn room, which is the ceremonial room where the speaker just signed the big, ugly, disgusting bill to get it ready to go to the White House. Which, by the way, is a room that is part of the People's House and which his staff tried to kick some of us out of as the vote was still open on the floor. Because what is very apparent right now is that these guys don't care. They don't care about our democracy, they don't care that this is the People's House, and they certainly don't care about the people that they represent. Because if they did, they would not each other and cheering and shouting about taking away healthcare from 17 million Americans, taking food away from millions of children across the United States, and opening our public lands and our environment to drilling and logging and mining. They just don't care. They don't care. In fact, the very same guys who over the last several days said that they would never vote for this bill because of deficit spending, even one of them who called it garbage was on the floor high-fiving his friends right after the bill passed. Because they're liars, they don't care, and they'll do whatever they want to hold power and get their agenda done. And that's exactly what they're doing. So, here we are. I think it's important in this moment to let our rage fuel our fight and to know that we're going to take back this house. We're going to hold them accountable, and we will restore the balance of power and ensure that this is the people's house. That is the work ahead of us. So I want all of you to know out there that the fight continues. And as Hakeem Jeffries said in his closing remarks after he broke the American record for holding the floor in opposition to a bill for over 8 hours, we must press on. We have to press on because that is our fight. So, I don't want you all to lose hope out there. I know it's frightening. I know it's enraging. I know it's upsetting. And I know that people are scared about the future of this country. But we have to stand strong. We have to stay in the fight, and we have to take back this house. So that is our fight ahead. Don't lose hope. Press on. Keep fighting. That's our assignment.
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, because there is so much lies, so much disinformation about those three things. First of all, no tax on Social Security doesn't exist. Donald Trump, Carolyn Leavitt, all these Republicans keep on saying it. It is a figment of their imagination. They did not eliminate taxes on Social Security. It was made up. Second, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. No tax on tips and no tax on overtime are in the bill, but there are some major caveats. No tax on tips is capped at $25,000 a year. No tax on overtime is capped at $12,500 per year. That's the limit, meaning every dollar you make above those rates, which, by the way, $25,000 a year and $12,500 a year, those are still considered poverty wages. Every dollar above that is taxed normally. They gave the bare minimum. They said, here are the poverty level wages that we're willing to waive the taxes on, but everything above $12,500 is going to be taxed as normal. One more thing they did, they sunsetted it in 2028. Meaning they gave themselves, these millionaires and billionaires, a massive tax cut, and it's permanent. But they gave your $25,000 and $12,500 those crumbs, a 3-year period. That's it. That's all they could afford to give you. A few crumbs that they would sunset after 3 years when their tax cuts, their major tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, are permanent. They just wanted it in place until the day Trump would leave office. And after that, he doesn't care because he can't take credit for it anyway. That's how much they care about you. They only want it there so long as Trump can point to it as some little window dressing for his broader bill that's going to screw the middle class, that's going to strip healthcare away from 17 million people, that's going to strip food assistance away from 3 million people, that's going to take school meals away from 18 million kids, that's going to send energy costs surging, that's going to explode the deficit by almost $4 to $5 trillion. That's what this bill does. They needed some way to fool people into thinking that this bill does something for them. It doesn't. This is crumbs, and they know it's crumbs, but they think so little of their own supporters that they figured this would be more than enough for them. Don't be fooled by it.
Our Constitution, written by our founders, is intended to protect us against a threat identical to Donald Trump, someone who seeks power at all costs to get more power. And I understand very well why it is wrong to compare Adolf Hitler's Third Reich to any other movement. It was uniquely evil, full stop. I get it. But there are important lessons from the history of that emergent evil, and here is one that I regard as essential. In the immediate aftermath of World War II, a small group of philosophers who had escaped Hitler's murderous regime returned to Germany and performed a kind of moral autopsy on the Third Reich. The most famous of the so-called Frankfurt School of philosophers was a man named Jürgen Habermas. He described how the Nazis, and I quote again, attacked the very heart of the distinction between true and false. End quote. The Trump administration is insisting on trying to create their own preferred version of reality. They say Ukraine attacked Russia instead of the other way around, and expect us to believe it. At home, they attack heroes who have defended our nation in war and against cyber attacks as traitors.
chaos people are seeing online when they see these masked agents pull up in an unmarked vehicle in broad daylight or in the middle of the night, going to elementary schools, to churches, to work sites, to Home Depot, wherever, and just snatching people up, and they forever disappear. They want the resources to take that and export it to every community in the country and take that chaos and put it everywhere. And I don't like to mince my words about it because it's not even mass deportation. Deportation, it's a legal process. It could take a few months. It could take a year. This is kidnapping. And then they traffic people to other countries they might not have even come from in the first place. The majority of folks who have been here over 10 years, taxpayers, Americans, our neighbors, our friends, our family. And we see what's going on even in the state of Florida. Many people have died already in the custody of ICE. And then we have this whole alligator Alcatraz situation where they're putting up what's essentially an internment camp in the middle of the Everglades in the hot Florida sun as we're going into hurricane season. And they're using the Florida Office of Emergency Management to run the whole thing, the people who are supposed to help keep us safe when a hurricane comes. I mean, it's all for politics. There's human rights abuses, and then it's horrible for the environment as well. And so people should, no matter what your opinion is on immigration, look, I think we all know we have laws. We want our laws enforced. Of course, we want to make sure we have an orderly process at the border. I mean, I feel like everyone wants that, but nobody wants this mass human trafficking chaotic campaign in our communities where we literally have immigrants and people who have been here, again, over 10 years of their life, our neighbors, fearing for their lives, not even sending their kids to school.
It's time for the trucker John livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The trucker John livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the trucker John livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the trucker John livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John. All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Let's see. Hello. Hello, everyone. There we go. There we go. My lovelies. Thanks everybody for being here. It is 9:22 a.m. Pacific Time Zone here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's already 94 degrees. Expected high today of 108. And getting a little warmer every day. Anyhow, thanks for being here. The chat, I cannot go to the very original top of the chat, but I do remember, I think Roxanne Armfield, I believe, was first, and I think Belfast Bob was second. After that, I don't know. Although I am right here where here's as far as I could go, where Nick Rich says like number 3. That can't be correct. We got 23 watching, only 17 thumbs up, so we are now operating at a deficit, a thumbs up deficit. Let's be good Democrats and balance the books, folks. Balance the books. Yeah, thank you all for being here. The opening clips there. We might comment on that a little bit. All this ridiculousness. And I'm glad that the LA mayor and the California governor are standing up to Trump and his bullshit. And we all need to do that. And I like the message. The redhead, I can't remember her name. I believe she's from New Mexico, and I like her. I've been seeing her lately on clips. I think she's really good, and I like her message of, let's not give up hope. Let's stand together. Let's stay together. Let's stay on mission, and that is to get back the House and the Senate, as far as I'm concerned. Anyhow, Belfast Bob's here. Let's see. Big Hook is here for the Big Canuck. Thanks for being here. And there's Roxanne Armfield. In typical scary fashion, my friend. Oh, see, I was sort of mid-thread. I'm already mid-thread because it won't let me go to the top of the chat. Belfast Bob, 506 in Ireland. 506 p.m. in Ireland. In Ireland. This is my island. Let's see. Roxanne Epstein says howdy, Trucker John and Loungers. So I think, one of the Roxannes was first. I forget if it was Roxanne Epstein or Roxanne Armfield. One of the Roxannes was first today. Forgive me for not knowing. Now, hopefully, we will not run into the problems we had yesterday, where I don't know what happened. The battery didn't die. I had plenty of juice left. It just stopped streaming yesterday. I couldn't get it to go back going. So hopefully we won't run into that problem today. Let's see. Roxanne Epstein, good morning, my esteemed colleague, honey Roxanne Epstein. Yes, we are at, I don't know if we're at full Roxanne capacity, but we've got double Roxannes today. Let's see. Belfast Bob, you'll find the worst of the worst at your local do-it-yourself store, for fuck's sake. Yeah, right? Better go round them up at the Home Depot. Nick Rich says chasing kids anywhere by armed military personnel is unacceptable in any democracy. You've obviously never had kids, Nick. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Roxanne Armfield, the sooner the Republicans are out of office, the better. Things always go better when the Democrats are in charge. At least within recent memory, at least within my lifetime. I'm not going to go back to the 1860s and everyone go, oh, it was the Democrats that were for slavery. Okay, last time I checked, this is the year 2025. We don't live in 1860 anymore, all right? A lot of things have changed since the 1860s. Belfast Bob, solidarity, folks, solidarity. Absolutely. Damon Dog, the big dog, is here. Hey, Damon, good to see you. Nick Rich turned red, purple, and purple. Wait, turn red, purple, and purple blue. Oh, that's a blue heart. Yeah, I need to learn to also read the emoji. Let's do this. Hey, Jolie's here. Good to see Jolie. Thanks for jumping on in and being here. Do appreciate you. Skipping on down here a little bit. Nick Rich is sort of notating the clips. Brian Tyler Cohen and No Kings as the clip was playing there. Roxanne Armfield, the Trump regime is trying their damnedest to divide us. We need to fight against their agenda. We need to come together and fight. Come together. The Beatles song "Come Together" is just always in my head, We need to come together, man. Roxanne Epstein, Al Gore. I know, right? When's the last time you saw Al Gore? I haven't seen him in anything in forever. And just think, and I don't like to go down this kind of wormhole because my head will want to explode. But I always think, just think, if Al Gore had taken his rightful place as president of the United States after the 2000 election, I think not only this country, but I think the whole world would be vastly different. There would be wars that wouldn't have been fought, unnecessary wars that wouldn't need to have needed to have been fought. I don't think 9/11 would have even happened. I mean, our strides towards getting off of fossil fuels and into green renewables would be decades ahead now. See, my head wants to explode right now. Why do I do this to myself? All we can do is try and learn from the past, and so far we're failing. We're failing from learning from the past as a nation. Damon Dog says lawnmower won't go forward, backwards, or break. I just bought it last year. Repair coming tomorrow. Weed eater is fucked up too. Sigh. Who wants to buy this house? I need a condo with no yard. Oh yes, the joys of home ownership. What time is it there, Bob? I believe you just said it was like 5:06 p.m. Nick Rich says Gore got burned by SCOTUS when W won Florida. Absolutely, that was a travesty. He didn't just get burned; he got the entire country got fucked, and not in a good way. You know what I mean? Roxanne Epstein says, Damon Dog, I pay $145 a month to my lawn guy, so I don't have to do it. I would die. Good luck, bro. Good luck, bro. Oh, is Mike H here? I skipped Mike H. I just saw someone said, Nick Rich. Oh, there he is. Thank God for ice. It is nice to cool off your drinks. I'll give you that much. I do like ice for my drinks. For my, cold drinks. Drinks that I wish to have cold. Joel the Troll. I had so much hope for Joel the Troll. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Jolie says, Mike H, aka Joel the Troll, fuck ice. Jolie likes her drinks neat. None of this over the rocks business. MJ Daniel, up from Washington State there, says, I do not seem to be seeing this in the South or Midwest, just California, where is ice going through parks in St. Louis or Kansas City? Well, maybe this is just a precursor of things to come. And also, I think that Trump is big on like vendettas and shit. And I don't think he likes California, and I don't think he likes LA, because LA is primarily Democrats. California is a blue state primarily because of the LA area and the Bay Area. Once you get out in the Central Valley, San Joaquin Valley, and out in Bakersfield, and even where I was from, Palmdale, Lancaster, it's full of fucking maggots and Republicans. So, this probably has something to do with Trump not liking LA and California in general, not liking Gavin Newsom. Probably sees him as a threat, even though, Trump is not going to be able to run again, but he sees Gavin Newsom as a threat to trying to be president, probably. So it probably has something to do with that, Belfast Bob, 5:20 p.m. in Ireland. Mike H, I don't drink Kool-Aid without ice. Me too, come to think of it. unless I don't have any ice. MJ Daniel, shouldn't all these resources being used in LA, be in Texas, helping? You'd think that would be where the focus is, but no. Donald Trump, while over 100 people have died in the flooding, he would rather go to fucking Florida and, talk about this fucking concentration camp, basically, that they're setting up. That's where his priorities are. He doesn't give a fuck about 100 people. Mainly, a lot of them are young people, kids in camps and stuff. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about that. So anything he says about that is totally fake. He has to practice, he has to feign concern and sympathy and empathy. Chris Doug's here. Hey, Chris Doug, good to see you. With your life jacket on there. Jolie says, but you're still drinking the Kool-Aid at my age. Apparently, huh? Seems like it. Jolie, I thought that we had kind of seen Mike H kind of come around, maybe see the error of his ways, was getting a little more reasonable. But I guess maybe the Trump winning the election has really emboldened Mike H to really bring all that old shit back up again, apparently. Nick Rich audio is working okay for now. Yeah, yesterday the mic did die. Maybe I didn't have it plugged in right or something. Because the one thing about these outlets in this apartment that I've noticed is everything I plug in, or well, at least on this one and the one by my bed, it's like really loose. Like the one I have a charger next to my bed, another charger, the one you can just set shit on it, and that motherfucker, if I just barely accidentally wiggle the nightstand, it'll I don't know, vibrate the wall or something, and this fucking the power, the plug-in thing, will just fall right out. And this outlet here seems to be a little loose too. So I hate loose outlets. I mean, I guess I could try and spread the tongs out a little bit, but I think I did try that. Roxanne Epstein says, yet my legal partner Roxanne Armfield was first. Okay, so Armfield was first. Epstein was probably top 10. I don't know. Brooklyn SJU, aka Trixie LaRue, says, I just rewatched Jaws last night. It was the summer before I started college. Apparently, I guess it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws, because I've been seeing all kinds of Jaws videos pop up in my YouTube feed, and I've been watching. I didn't watch the movie, but I've been watching a lot of the videos about the making of Jaws and all this kind of stuff. Jaws. I remember I saw Jaws. I did not see Jaws when it first came out. I guess it came out in '75, and I didn't see it for whatever reason. And even though it was a big giant hit, and I was very familiar with it and with the theme, dun-dun. I saw the clips, some of the clips that were kind of iconic clips of the movie, but I just never got around to seeing it. It wasn't until about, I think, 4 years later. I was down at the beach with my friend, Julie Pinard, my high school friend, that we used to hang out and just hang out and be buddies, good buddies. And we went to the movies. Well, we were in Costa Mesa, and we were down at Newport Beach. hanging out. I remember we were riding. I think we rented bikes or we got bikes or something, or she had a bike because I think her folks had an apartment or a condo down at Newport Beach. And we were down there, and maybe that's where you got the bikes. I can't remember. So it's been so long now. We were down at I guess our folks, like I said, they had that place, and we were hanging out at the beach. Anyhow, so we were driving around, and there was a showing. It was in Costa Mesa where the theater was. I think there was a showing of Jaws. And this is like 4 years after the movie had been out. In those days, usually, well, movies were in theaters a lot longer than those days, but not 4 years. But anyhow, they were playing Jaws, and I remember saying like something like, "I've never seen that movie." She's like, "What? You've never seen Jaws? We got to turn this car over, go back over there. We're gonna go see Jaws." So we went and saw Jaws, and I remember we're sitting there watching the movie, and I'm just watching it, but in the side of my, kind of in the corner of my eye, I could tell that Julie was like just like looking at me, and I would look at her. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing, nothing." And she kind of had this little smile on her face, and I was like, "Okay." And what it was, she kept waiting. She wanted to see how I was reacting to all these certain parts of the movie, And then there was this one part where I think they were diving under the water, and something jumps out at them, and at that part, I literally like jumped out of my seat. I was like, "Whoa!" And she just starts laughing and laughing and laughing because that was the main thing she was waiting for. I guess she knew this part of the movie, and she was just waiting for. She wanted to see my reaction, and she got such a big kick out of that. I remember that to this day. What a what a kick she got out of watching me like jump out of my seat out of this one part. I can't exactly remember the part in the movie, but there's like a little jump scare in it. And so anyhow, I saw Jaws, but it wasn't until I think it was 1979, because I was still in high school. I think, right? Yeah, we were still in high school and everything. We were just down at the beach. Trying to remember if that was during the school year or maybe that was during summer vacation. Might have been 78 then. Or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Somewhere around there. 78, 79. So that whenever I think of Jaws, I think of that. I think of that moment of Julie just cracking up and getting such a big kick out of seeing me like jump out of my seat. Let's see. Chris Doug, 92 degrees in the city of Hackensack, New Jersey. Why do I think of Billy Joel now all of a sudden? Didn't he have a song that had something about Hackensack? Here is Zatoichi 444. Good afternoon, Chugger John. Good afternoon to you, Zatoichi 444. I don't think I've seen you here before, so thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you coming on in, hanging out with us for a little bit. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up button. Be greatly appreciated. Belfast Bob, 1977, a good year. Yeah, I guess so. Those were my good years. I was in high school during that time, and I have fond memories of my high school days. Dave Deadley's here. Hey, Dave Deadley, another new name. You are a PD super trucker. Not sure how to take that, because I don't know what it means. I think it's supposed to be something bad. So we're not getting off to a good start. But hey, thanks for being here. Big Hook says, seems like tyranny is on an accelerated pace after that military stunt in the park. We'll see how it goes, Big Hook. It's a good thing we have the mayor of LA and the governor of California really, I think, taking a stand. And I hope that other governors and other mayors across the country, when these start happening to their cities and their states, follow suit. So they are being pretty good examples, I think, for the rest of the country. Aaron West is here, so we are at full mod capacity. Thank you, Aaron and Jolie, for being here. Appreciate you. I do appreciate you. Speaking of high school, this is my old high school. This is one of our logos. Apple Valley Sun Devils. Devil Pride. Got my Devil Pride. AM's here. AM says hello, TJ and fellow loungers. Hello, AM. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. Nick Rich says Brooklyn SJU, aka Trixie LaRue. Your new handle takes too long. Trixie LaRue is all you get from now on. No highlights, sorry. It is a lot to type. If you're trying to type something. I'm just going to skip it on down. Sandy Foltz is here. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on in here to the lounge and hanging out with us for a bit. Roxanne MC says there are more than 2 Roxannes on YouTube. I learned that quickly. Me and Roxanne Tracy, aka Indie Roxy, talk on the phone all the time. Never had Roxanne friends till YouTube. I love it. Interesting how we meet people on YouTube. Nick Rich, piss on Project 3025. Yeah, you thought Project 2025 was bad? Just wait till we get to Project 3025. Jim Larson's here. Hey, Jim, good to see you. Another new name. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. Hope you hang around. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We are at over 3,900 subscribers now, trying to get to 4,000. Ultimately, 6 million subscribers. Brooklyn, aka Trixie Lou, we don't live in 1860. Some of us think we do. I think, and some of us wish we did. Still, or at least pre 1860s. There are those that will. This whole Project 2025 and this whole MAGA shit, they're totally into, taking us back to the antebellum South. It really sounds like what they're trying to do, ultimately, is just use undocumented immigrants as just make them indentured servants. That's kind of what maybe, they'll round them up and then hand them over to the responsibility of the farm owners, which are modern day plantation owners. Chris Doug says Republican idiots are blaming Obama. Yes, Obama for flooding and deaths in Texas. Yeah, it just shows how stupid they are. They should be blaming Greg Abbott. They should be blaming the Republicans in charge of those areas that are being affected. They're the ones that turned down the equipment. They didn't want to pay. They said they didn't want to pay extra in taxes to get this new equipment, this advanced equipment for forecasting weather and the floodings and the like. So yeah, they're deflecting because they know that they are the ones that are really to blame. These Republican leaders in Texas, they are the ones to blame, and of course they are spineless cowards they cannot take responsibility for anything. So they will always blame someone else, and it will be, if not Biden, it'll be Obama, It'll be to the point where it'll be 20, 30, 40 years ago that Obama was president, and there's going to be Republicans that are still going to blame Obama for something. Because they can't take responsibility for their own actions or inactions in some cases. Because everything they run on is a lie. Nicholas says 2025 seems like a century. Aaron West says this month seems like a century waiting to move into my new place. I can relate to that. I can relate a little bit. I'm still on pins and needles. Today should be the day that I find out whether or not I'm going to be able to go to that new apartment or not. This will be the day. I'm either in or I'm out, and I haven't found out yet. But I'm pretty sure this has got to be today's the day. I'm either going or I'm not going. WW's here. Hey, W, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge. W says, greetings, gang. Come together, but you must all agree with me. Well, I'm sure there are some things that we could agree with you on. We're not going to agree on you with everything, I don't think. And nor should anyone agree with what I don't think 100% of everything for everybody. We all have our little differences and things of this nature. I've been watching the show on Netflix called Fubar. It's with Schwarzenegger, and he plays like a CIA agent. And then his daughter, unbeknownst to him, unbeknownst to each other, they didn't know that they were CIA agents. But then, and I guess I'm kind of spoiling it, but they divulge it, and I think it's in the trailers, so you should know, or the whatever. But anyhow, they both find out that they're CIA agents, and so the whole thing is about them like coming to grips with the lying and all that kind of stuff, and then they get thrown together on a case. It's kind of corny, it's kind of stupid in a lot of ways, but I don't know, for some reason I've only watched the first 3 episodes, I think, so far. Anyhow, so that something reminded me. Somebody said something and it reminded me of it. What did I just read? I don't know. There was something reminded me of it, but anyhow, that's what I'm watching on Netflix right now. Roxanne, Paul Burroughs, I've always found that song to be rather dystopian. Was that the Eve of Destruction? I think it is dystopian in a way, or it's certainly a kind of a cautionary tale or something. I don't know. MJ Daniel says this administration is resorting to straight up terrorism. Terrorism is what they're doing. We need to call them out. Stand up to them. And stand up against them. Because if we do all come together, we are strong. We have a strength in numbers. Sandy Foltz, you're buffering again. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry about that. Not much I can do about it, but because I think I'm in the best spot that I can be in. Aaron West, I got my Al Gore Needs More Rhythm shirt. That's right. I think, is that Liberal Dan? You guys, go over to Liberal Dan, not right this instant. You can stay here, but at some point, go to Liberal Dan and to his channel. I think he's got a merch table set up or whatever they call it, merch store. And go buy some T-shirts. He's got some cool ones. And one of them is the Al Gore Needs More Rhythm that Aaron West has. While you're over there, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and watch his show. Here's Jen Up the Bass. About time Gin Up the Base got here. Says that Roxanne Epstein, well, for fuck's sake, good to see TJ and everyone in the chat. Thank you, Jen. Up the base. WW says, oh, damn it, dog, the burdens that some have to bear. MJ Daniel Gore's first mistake was the VP. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I guess. I never thought really that a VP made that much of a difference, a VP choice, but I guess when it's that razor thin, close, then it does, you know. Nick Rich, 9:32. So yeah, I'm about what am I? 20 minutes, 23 minutes behind. I'm just getting to the point where you guys were talking about buffering. Hopefully, the buffering is passed by now. Sandy says, TJ, did you get the picture of Superman? Trump is sent it. Yeah, I did see that. I thought it was weird. I mean, not for you. I'm not if you do that, but you know, looking at that, I was just like, he thinks he's Superman. Trump does. And he's not. He wishes he's been doing that his whole, even going back into his first term, where he or someone puts his head on top of Rocky's body and on top of all these big strong bodies, and that's what he wishes he looked like and wishes he had that strength and health. But once again, quite the opposite is true of Trump. Trump is in horrible shape, horrible condition. And, I don't know how much longer he's got. I mean, no one knows. No one knows. Sometimes people, could be in poor health and aging, but the guy might live into his 90s, or he might live to be 100. I don't know. Who knows? But he is sort of sinking fast, it seems like. MJ Daniel says New York City will be next because of Zoran Mandani, is what I think. Well, he's not mayor yet. We'll see in November. After he wins, and then for mayor, do they not take office until the new year, or is it sooner than that? I don't know, because it might be different. I don't know. But yeah, that's a good point, though. Be another one of Trump's targets. Big Cook says Stephen Miller grew up in California and is on a revenge tour of using ice because he got rejected by a Latina girl. Oh, poor Stephen Miller. Jen Up the Base says Brooklyn SJUK Trixie LaRue. Hello there. At Brooklyn LaRue. James Jaramillo's there. Hey, James, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on in the driver's lounge and hanging out with us. James Jaramillo says Trump isn't the president now. He's somebody's puppet. Well, he's always been Putin's puppet. He's always been Putin's puppet. He's always been Putin's puppet, I believe. Maybe Trump feels a little more emboldened or whatever, or to break away from Putin a little bit, since he's won a second term and whatever. But he's definitely a puppet. Nick Rich, I put ice in my tea and coffee so I can drink it quicker, which reminds me, refill required. I don't put, if I'm drinking hot tea or hot coffee, I don't do that because I want it hot. Otherwise, I would just drink iced coffee or iced tea. Jim Larson, what fruits do you like, John? All the basics. Apples, oranges, bananas, strawberries. It's probably my top ones right there. Damon Dog, Death Camp, first hurricane. Oh yeah, yeah. Anyone who's there during a hurricane, they're fucked. AM says Trump is a vengeful man baby. Josh, hey Josh. Josh says, hey loungers. Hey, back at ya. MJ Daniel, deep MAGA territory, and expecting help from DJT is about as helpful as expecting help from God. From God. Josh, did I miss any apartment updates? Since this is I'm about 20 minutes behind, you probably heard what I said. So I should find out one way or the other today sometime. By end of business today. Hey, Belfast Bob with a £5 super chat. Thank you, Belfast Bob. Yippee! I'm just now getting to that one. Thank you so much, Belfast Bob. I appreciate you. From across the pond there in Ireland. Getting a £5 super chat. Jolie says, yes, our troll is sliding back into the swamp at Trucker John. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. WW, I love iced tea. Drink it all day. All day, every day. There's all the yippies for Belfast Bob. Yippee. That's how far behind I am, guys. That's how far. But that's the nature of the thing. If I'm going to talk, read your chats, and I sort of talk about some of these topics that come up. That's going to happen. Sandy Foltz was first today. Oh, okay. Sorry, Sandy. I wasn't able to scroll to the very top. So I guess it was Sandy, and then one of the Roxannes, and then I think Belfast Bob. I think that might have been the order, but not that it really matters a whole lot. I'm just glad to see you guys all here. Big Hook, get a power bar. I do have one of those, but I'm using it back. I have one. I could get another, but I'm using it back there where my TV's at. And I hate buying all that shit. I keep talking about my storage. I have boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of shit, and I know I've got probably at least two power bars in there. But what good does it do me if it's locked up in storage 250 miles away? I know I could buy a power bar for, $10 or whatever. It's just a weird psychological thing, I think. Nick Rich, I haven't been to a movie theater since VHS tapes brought them all to my TV. Well, some people are like you, just don't like theaters. I was a moviegoer. In the last few years, I haven't gone to movies as much, but I always like going to movies. Either you go with friends, it's like a social thing, and also I always like the big screen, and the sound systems were usually better, and it was like a night out. It was like something to do, right? You go out on a date or with friends, and you have dinner, and you have the whole thing. So it's a social thing, more than anything. But I will admit, in my later years, I've gone to movie by myself more than anything, and so I'm just being social with myself, I guess. And I don't mind treating myself to a nice evening out. I'll take myself to dinner. I'll buy myself some popcorn and a Coke and a Hershey chocolate bar, and go watch and enjoy watching the movie in the big theater. I derive pleasure from that. Jolie says, yes, Sandy Foltz was first today. I saw it. Okay. Sorry. By the time I got on here, sometimes the thing doesn't let me go to the very top of the chat for whatever reason. I don't know why. And I don't know why. It's kind of arbitrary. It seems like some days I can, some days I can't. I don't know. This is how far back I am in the chat. I was talking about seeing Jaws like a half an hour ago, and now I'm reading the chats about people going to movies and stuff. So that's how far back I am. So I might just skip through some of this stuff about people going to movies and seeing movies in the theaters and stuff like that. I will read this one though. James Aramayo says Jaws, if I'm not mistaken, is still ranking as one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Probably. David Dog, we're going to need a bigger boat. Yeah, that was a classic scene. And a line. Big Hook. It's not Schneider. It's not Schneider. It's Roy Scheider. It's not Schneider. Whatever it is. Anyhow, feeding chum to lure a great white, and at that stunned look as he says, "We need to think about." Yeah. Belfast Bob, Jaws, and Star Wars. Joey said the last movie I saw in theaters was Barbie. He loved it. I remember when you saw that. I remember us talking about that. Gosh, that's been, a couple of years now. I've been to some movies since then, but it's been a while. I think my last movie might have been the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I think that might have been my last one. That's been like, what, a year now? Time flies, time flies, time flies. Big Hook 943 time reference, so I am about 18 minutes behind. David Dog says the last movie I saw in the theater was Avatar. I wanted to see it with 3D glasses. I think that's been a few years now, isn't it? Oh no, Avatar was the. I guess that was this year, huh? Was that earlier this year, or was that last year? I don't know. Time flies. Nick Rich 9:45. So I'm 20. Oh no, I'm 21 minutes behind. Big Hook. Hope your pantry is well stocked because the food shortages are coming. Belfast Bob, I'm 8 hours ahead of Vegas. Jolie says, "Oh, I thought he was asking you if you drove a Peterbilt truck. I must have missed something." Well, I thought that too, but then I was like, I don't know. Is that what he means? Does he mean Peterbilt? I don't know. And I really wasn't a Peterbilt driver. Trying to remember if I ever drove a Pete. I don't think I did. Mainly freight shakers and a couple of Volvos, some international. Kenworth. I had a nice Kenworth. Don't think I've ever had a Pete. AM says, "Hey Josh, I had the same question about TJ's apartment update, but I was afraid to ask because I missed the intro today." Well, like I said, today's the day. I still haven't found out, but I'm pretty sure it's either going to be yay or nay today, sometime today. Now, I did find, because of a passenger I had that I dropped off, there is another weekly like this, like where I'm at now, apartment that is actually, I want to say, according to what I've looked up, it's like $100 a week cheaper. It's another weekly type of deal, and you can pay monthly, I guess. But it's right like a block off the strip. It's right between, like, you can see Encore and Resorts World and the Convention Center. It's right in there. I think it's like $320 a week. And I'm thinking that if I don't get this apartment on Boulder Highway, if that doesn't go through, I might just go over to this other place. It's 100, even though it's a weekly and it's still expensive. 320. It's like $320 a week, but it's $100 cheaper, and I really love that location because, as you guys know, I'm for some reason I'm attracted to the Strip, like a fly to the bug zapper. I'm like a bug to the bug zapper when it comes to the Strip, and this thing is like maybe it's 2 blocks off the Strip, and it looks okay. But I don't know how well run it is. I don't know. Like this here, I think is a pretty well maintained place where I'm at. I don't know what the maintenance is like over there. I don't know what the units are like. I don't know if they're gross and dirty and grungy and full of bugs. I don't know. But I would like, if I don't get this place today, if I don't find out today about this place that I can move, then I might just up and move out of here and go over there for $100 cheaper. And it's, I think, a much better location because, like I said, I'm attracted to the Strip for some reason. Even though I don't do anything, I don't gamble. I don't go to the casinos. Now, if I lived there, maybe I would go more, at least to check out. I would be within walking distance of Resorts World and probably Encore and Wynn and probably Fountain Blue and Circus, which is really gross and disgusting. But I would be within walking distance of all those places. Tim Farrell's there. Hey, the Farrell one. Thanks for being here. Tim Farrell says, "Hi, gang. Do you think Donald and Melania ever play Scrabble?" All the time. Oh, I've heard they are just voracious Scrabble players. And of course, Melania kicks his ass because they play the rules where she can use any language, and apparently she knows 18 different languages. Of course, it's all just certain sentences that all mean leave the money on the dresser. Something like that. Damon Dog says, Tim Farrell, Trump knows all the best words. That's true. He maybe he does win because he knows all the best words. Big Hook says, my grandfather in Montana had 3 deep freezes well stocked with deer, antelope, and fish as he considered meat from a grocery store as a concession of manhood. He's like an old Montana mountain man. Tim Farrell, be best. Leave the money on the dresser. She's a whore. She's nothing but a fucking whore. Nothing against whores. I mean, hey. Sex work is sex work, It's work. Sex work is work. Okay, I'm sort of skipping on down. In the chat, I'm skipping on down. In the chat. Mad Max, Slava Ukraini. Hey, Mad Max, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Brooklyn aka Tricks in the Roost says, when I moved up here to Westchester, people would give directions. Turn right at the big tree. Okay. Michael McAndrews is here. Michael says, I was listening and chatting on Texas Paul, and now all of a sudden Texas Paul chat disappeared, and now Texas Paul has been taken out of my feed altogether. Someone is messing with things. Wow. That's weird stuff, Michael. McAndrews? I don't know what to tell you. Could be a conspiracy. Sonny Foltz, did you hear about the place? I'm waiting. Like I said, today's the day. Because I spoke with my caseworker yesterday, and she said they have 2 business days, and like Thursday didn't count, I guess, because she turned everything in on Thursday. Friday didn't count because it was a holiday. The weekend doesn't count. Those aren't business days. So they had yesterday and today. So today is the second business day. She said they have 2 business days to come back with their reply, with their decision. So this is the second business day, so I will be finding out sometime today. It's either yay or nay. It's either yay or nay. Nay, nay. Nay, nay. Donald Leary, where's House Parks? He's traveling. I think he went back to Kentucky. I think he took his mom home, sweet home Kentucky, and taking his son probably back to wherever his ex lives, back in Ohio or someplace. And so he's traveling and he's doing stuff, doing things of this nature. So yesterday was a travel day, I believe. Now maybe Aaron or Jolie could confirm this for me, or someone could confirm it. I believe he's going to do a regular show today at 3 p.m. Pacific. Well, I don't know the time, because when he's on East Coast time, I don't know. But I believe he's going to be on sometime today. He might be on right now, for all I know. But Don, that's all I know about Hal. He's traveling. I believe he's in the Eastern time zone right now. And I do believe he's coming on sometime today. But I could be wrong. Nick Rich says he'll be in later, Donald Leary. That's all you need to know, I guess. I don't know. Keith Polite's here. Keith says Stephen Miller reminds me of Roy Cohn. Hello, Keith Polite. Thanks for being here, by the way. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. We are actually operating at a surplus. We have 43 watching, 46 thumbs ups. But if you haven't hit the thumbs up, make sure you do so. I would greatly appreciate it. I would greatly appreciate it. Here's Jolie with the link to Liberal Dan. Get some Liberal Dan merch. And there is a link to get some shirts from Liberal Dan. Go and buy you some shirts. As soon as I get a little extra cash, once I get settled and I know where I'm living, I might go buy me a Liberal Dan t-shirt and wear it on my show. Yes, sirree. I just might do it. Don't think that I won't. Nick Rich, 9:55, so I'm 21 minutes back. 21 minutes behind you. Big Hook. Okay, gotta go get some sleep. Enjoy Trucker John without me. Remember, folks, watch Liberal Dan. When Big Hook calls in, make sure you have a beverage of your choice, an adult beverage of your choice. And every time Big Hook says, you got to drink. But you might want to just take little sips, because you will probably black out at some point if you're not careful. So play that game at your own risk. But that would be an interesting drinking game. The Big Hook, drinking game. If you really feel like getting blottoed, blind drunk, do that. Big Hook, I'm just messing with you. But even though it's true, but I'm still, I'm saying that, not as a mean thing. As a funny thing. I was being funny. I was just being funny, sir. I was just being funny. WW mayors don't have that much power. They got power. When you're mayor of LA, second biggest city in fucking country, you got some power. One Vision member for 13 months. Yippee to One Vision. Thanks for being a member for 13 months. I appreciate you guys. We got memberships that start at $1.99 a month. What can you buy for $1.99? You used to be able to get a venti coffee at Starbucks, but even their prices have gone up a little bit. But thank you, One Vision. Appreciate you for that. Thanks for being here. It looks like Roxanne and Jen up the base. Roxanne Arfield, you guys are having a little thing going back and forth. It's kind of funny. Let's see, man. Yeah, she said good 6 to 8 weeks. I'm mid-thread on some stuff because I skipped down So I'm really mid-thread on some of these stuff going on here, and so it's hard for me to really comment on it. Other than I could go, Paul Burrows says temperature is supposed to be 106 today in Lewiston, Idaho, hotter than popcorn park. Yeah, and Lewiston, yeah, that's pretty hot for them. Like today, we're supposed to be at 108. We're at 97 right now, according to my watch. And I think my watch is pretty accurate. Michael McAndrews, my Texas Paul feed disappeared for about 5 minutes. Now it's back. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. If it's a YouTube glitch or what. Barefoot Bear's here. Hey, Barefoot Bear, good to see you. Thanks for joining us in the driver's lounge. Good to see you. Nick Rich, I spent over $1,000 on a storage unit once. Threw out most of it afterwards. What a waste of money. I know, and I've been paying for my storage for years and years and years. I need to get that shit out of there, man. Barefoot Bear, I haven't been in a movie theater in 45 years, laughing out loud. That's a long time. Barefoot Bear, I don't have the patience for movies. Well, then you don't like movies. And that's fine. Everyone can free to like what they like and not like what they don't like. Hey, Non-Useful 2's here. Not to be confused with Non-Useful 1. Non-Useful 2 says, TSA has announced that all travelers, regardless of their pre-check status, yay, yep, pie. Yay, yep, pie. I'm not familiar with that expression, by the way. Man, Matt, Peterbilt class of the road. Peterbilts are nice. Yeah, they're nice, well made. Like I said, I don't think I've ever driven a Peterbilt. I'm trying to think. I may have. Nick Rich, my caloric intake is about 1,500 calories a day. Easy to lose weight when you eat less. Absolutely, yeah. When you operate at a calorie deficit, in other words, you burn more calories than you take in. Yeah, you're going to lose weight. Probably. Jolie says, "Oh, I just noticed you've ticked over 3,900. Choco John, next up, 6 million. Right, that's right. On our way to 6 million. Let's get there. 6 million subscribers." Paul Burrows, a frosty mug of A&W root beer and a burger was 40 cents. I don't know what year are we looking at? Like 1955 or something? Also, yearly average income was probably $8,000 a year or $5,000 a year. I mean, things have changed. We can always go back and say, yeah, it was so cheap back then. Everything was cheap. Everything and income was low. Non-Useful 2, Epstein's blackmail list was on Hunter Biden's laptop after Hillary Clinton overnighted a flash drive to Hunter via the blind PC repairman. And I believe that was all in jest. I believe that whole statement was in jest. Okay, I'm skipping down a bit. William's here. Hey, William, good to see you. So hello, Trucker John and everyone else. I'm late. I'm watching Tennessee Brando and Texas Paul. Fuck those assholes. No, I'm just kidding. I like Tennessee Brando. I like Texas Paul. Just kidding. Not kidding. No. Thanks for coming over, William, for a little bit anyhow. 007 Kevin, the Troll Slayer's here. Hello, 007 Kevin, the Troll Slayer. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit. I think, can someone verify, is Boston Brian coming on at 11 today? Or 11 my time? If so, I'll try to just stay on till then and we can do a jump over there. Michael McAndrews, I lost my feed at Tennessee Brando for a few minutes. I thought I was on Texas Paul. After my milestone chat over there, someone shut my feed down for a few minutes. All those question marks. I don't know, Paul. Michael, I don't know. I have no idea. Roxanne Epstein, I'm guessing Hal will be on at 3 p.m. 6 p.m. I don't know when he's back east. Things do tend to get a little skewed time-wise. Michael McAndrews, I hit the like 10 times. Well, it's an even number, so that's probably good. Michael McAndrews, $2 super chat to the gold. Thank you, Michael. Yippee to Michael McAndrews. We got that second one in. If we hit the goal, we will have guest appearances. If we don't hit the goal, no guest appearances. If you know what I mean. 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 Jolie says Trucker John has channel memberships and super chats. You can also support the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing, or by buying me a coffee at Buy Me a Coffee there on that link, or by subscribing to the show. Let's get 6 million subscribers. I don't know why I did that. Aaron West, member for 14 months. Yippee, Aaron West. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and share. 14 glorious months. Aaron West, thank you so much. Stephanie B2's here. We're going to be in the low 80s in Central California. That's beautiful. Because I know Central California can get hot, like triple digit hot. So being in the low 80s in July, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. Nick Rich, 20 past the hour. I'm 6 minutes behind now because I have been skipping down. To be honest, I've been skipping down in the chat. Michael McAndrews says, I have had a tornado skip over me. Speaking of skipping, I've had a tornado skip over me one time in St. Louis. The neighborhood on one side got hit, and then on the other side of me, I drove under a tornado. Wow. That's kind of scary. Jolie says, happy truck anniversary, Aaron. Yes, I have to remember to say that. Happy truck anniversary. Dan B is here. It's amazing how this stupid administration says nothing here regarding the Epstein files. If this was a dim administration, and the rep in Congress would, I guess the Republicans in Congress would be having a cow. All they are a bunch of hypocrites. Oh yeah, that goes without saying. But yeah, I mean, we should say it. Yes, the Republicans are hypocrites, full of double standards, and really, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing with bringing the National Guard in and the Marines in and all this, and with ICE, is kind of a deflection from the Epstein files, and they want to act like they don't even exist. But you're right, Dan B. You're right. Stephanie B2 says, yes, Boston Brian is coming on at 11 Pacific time. So yeah, we'll go on till around 11, and then maybe we'll do a little Trucker John raid over there. If you guys don't mind. If you don't mind. Robert Perez from down San Diego way. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Robert says, Trucker John, have a groovy day and stay woke every day until the evil is gone. A way to combat evil is to be woke. Paul Burrows, when I started my career butchering and cutting meat, I made $1.65 an hour. There you go. That's probably when you could get that, what was it? A&W and whatever for 65 cents. Oh, Jolio says Chug John also has PayPal. There's the PayPal link there. Donald Leary says at Damon Dog, I was at work. A tornado flew right by the window at the hospital, ruined many trees. South Minneapolis, crazy. Crazy. Toys in the attic. I'm crazy. Robert Perez, I'm having a tornado in my house right now in San Diego because all 4 grandkids all tearing shit up in my house. Those little shits. I know you love them to death, but they're little shits, aren't they? I know, man. Mr. Spock is here. Live long and prosper. Old Mr. Spock says, howdy everyone. One of my weed plants has a polyploid mutation. They produce a cool looking cola? What's a cola other than a drink? I don't know. I'm not. I have weed ignorance. I plead weed plant ignorance. Today's treasure on how do we do a TJ convoy over to Boston, Ryan? Well, basically, the way we have to do it here is hopefully Jolie or Aaron will just put a link to the show, or you just make your way over there, and just when you go in there into the chat, you just say, "Hey, this is Trucker John raid." That's how we do it here in the Trucker John show. I don't have any fancy buttons and fancy things that I can't do it in a fancy way. And also, where the hell is fancy, by the way? So yeah, we just drop a link and tell everyone to go over there. And then when you jump into their chat, just say, hey, this is Trucker John raid. I see nothing wrong with doing it that way, by the way. Red Mac, Aerosmith album, Toys in the Attic, right? That's when Aerosmith was good. That's the era of Aerosmith I like. Their other stuff, later on, their kind of late 80s and early 90s stuff it's okay, it's good, but I left the 70s Aerosmith, those mid 70s, late 70s, my high school years of Aerosmith. That's when Aerosmith was Aerosmith. That's the best Aerosmith. When they were all drunk and high, right? I'm not advocating for drunkenness and highness, but that's when they were the best. Gin at the base, Trucker John, the cola is the top bud, I believe. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Nick Rich is kind of backing that up. Colas are the big buds on the top of a weed plant, Trucker John. Mr. Spock, a cola is the very top of a weed plant. At TJ, usually the best part. Alrighty then. I've gotten my daily weed education. Dan B says that's all Trump knows how to do is redirect everything, deflect all news, just like the horrible incident in Texas. Cut 800 people out of NOAA, found out that Noam is breaking FEMA from within, just sick. And they're laughing about it. You see them laughing, having a jolly old time. They're sick. These Republicans, and particularly this administration, are totally fucking evil sick. Not like, redeemable. I don't think they're redeemable. They're just, they need to be sent away. They need to be sent to that camp and have and never get out. That's where Noam needs to be. And I hope there is some justice like that at some point. MJ Daniel says A&W would put a little clear colored plastic spider monkey on toys and the river floats for the kids when I was younger. I'm not sure if I remember that or not. Mad Mac, I saw Fancy yesterday, so she's around. Don't know why she's not coming in here though. Maybe I pissed her off or something. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Nah, I don't know. She's probably just busy doing other things. Non-Useful 2 says Iran's top military commander has issued a threat to Israel, warning if conflict reignites, Tehran is prepared to launch a crippling assault so overwhelming that even the U.S. may not be able to help. Sounds. I'm calling bullshit on Iran there. I don't know. I'm going to call bullshit. Kind of trying to puff their chests out a little bit there. Ivy Joe Rains, hey, Ivy Joe Rains says Hal is in Central Time Zone, and also hi everyone. Thank you, Ivy Joe. Okay, so he's not in all the way to the east. He's in Central Time Zone. So that 1 hour can make a big difference when you're trying to do things like if you're used to being on Pacific Time Zone. That 1 hour, the difference between Central and Eastern is kind of a big deal to adjust your clock to and everything. Brooklyn Nikki Trixaloo, I love Fancy for her pink ribbons, I guess, and she's a nice person. Psilocybin, whatever you call it, mushroom, otherwise known as mushrooms, I believe, or magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms. James Hermio, crazy bats in the belfry. I am crazy. It's always in the attic. Yeah, it's a great song. Rob Perez, yes, my son is going to be in prison for about 4 years, so I am playing the father figure for now. Retirement is over. Wow, I think maybe you've mentioned that before, and I guess I forgot about that. So hopefully he'll get out on maybe parole, get good times for good time served. Maybe maybe they can cut that down to 2 or 3 years, hopefully. But in the meantime, you're being a good grandpa, and you are, being there for your grandkids and stuff. So that's the main thing. I know it's tough, especially as we get a little older. It gets tough to handle kids and stuff. Dan B says, no, they are not redeemable. They are just horrible people. Yeah, they are not. Christine Nome, Stephen Miller, that Holmgren, whatever the fuck his name is, certainly Trump. They're not redeemable. They are deplorable, horrible fucking people that should all be locked up and never see the light of day. That's what I think about that. Just sort of skipping down a little bit here. Belfast Bob, love me mushroom, psilocybin time here. September through December, they're everywhere. Yummy, wow. I think I've caught up. Belfast Bob, any Gong folks here? What's Gong? Like the Gong Show? David Mrs. Bach, a 4x4. I do 4 at a time. The grow is Granddaddy Purple. All 4 plants look different. Same seed lot, though one is perfect. I wish I had a place for a mother of clones. Wow, all that shit just went right over my head. That's like drug weed growing talk, I think. WW Gong? Yeah, I was wondering on Gong. I'm like, first thing I thought was Gong Show. Oh, yeah, Nick Chris's The Gong Show was great. Brooklyn SAU, aka Trixie LaRue, says that Robert Perez, you're really stepping up to take care of those kids. Dan B agrees with me. Mad Mac, the Unknown Comic, was my favorite. He was funny. I remember the Unknown Comic. The bag over his head. Yeah. Belfast Bob says the band Gong Festival Circuit here. Oh, I've never heard of that band. Non-useful. I love me some long stem mushrooms. Touch my tonsils. Okay. Roxanne Epstein says Damon Dog. That's the Healer Strain Bro Granddaddy Purple. It stays in rotation around here. Round here. Aaron West, I'm back. I'm back in the saddle again. Speaking of Aerosmith, I'm back. Anyhow, William says Gong is a great band. I don't believe I've ever heard of Gong. I didn't believe I've ever heard of this band you speak of called Gong. I don't know why. Do they have any hits I might be familiar with? Are they as famous as Aerosmith? I don't think so. Brooklyn, UAK, Tricks and LaRue. Because I never knew marijuana experts before. Yeah, we've got all these marijuana experts in our midst. Mr. Spock, I have a sale at JH Seeds, 40% off. Damon Dog, I'm going to get the feminized outdoor bundle. They're feminized. Roxanne Epstein, I'm back. Oh, I'm back in the saddle again. Yeah. I love Steven Tyler's voice. Belfast Balb says, no, they're an underground band. Well, no wonder I never heard of them, because I'm not a gopher. Roxanne Epstein says, I've never heard of Gong either. I ain't never heard of Gong. What's this Gong you're talking about? William says, no hits for Gong, at least in the States, maybe in the UK. Well, if they sound anything like Aerosmith, then I might like them. But if they sound like some raging punk band from the 70s that I outgrew 50 years ago, then I probably wouldn't like them. Roxanne Armfield, Rox Simmons, I'm surprised he has a voice left. Well, they stopped touring. I don't think he's in very good health. I think he's doing very poorly right now, health-wise. They were touring, was it last year or maybe earlier this year, and they just up and quit mid-tour because Steven Tyler, his health got so bad he couldn't continue. So I don't know how Steven's doing. I hope he's doing okay, but I think he's kind of shot. You know what I mean? Nick Rich, bonds, not gongs. We do have a lot of cannabis experts here. Yeah, Roxanne says, yes, cannabis experts. What ails you? I know what to recommend. We do have a lot of you stoners, you potheads. This is okay. I mean, this goes back to my high school days. I was a jock, not because I was a good athlete. I was not a good athlete, but I was more of a jock because I played football. So I was in the jock crowd, even though, I was a horrible athlete. But still, there was a lot of overlap between the stoners. There's a lot of jocks. We still, I mean, some people took that to be kind of like a rivalry, like there was like these cliques and the rivals and stuff. But a lot of us, we overlapped. There's a lot of overlap with the stoner, because that's what we had: the stoners, we had the jocks, and then you had like the smart kids that were like not necessarily dweebs or dorks, but we had the smart, really smart kids. Some of them were, there was overlap too. Some of them were stoners and some of them were jocks. But so I guess this is kind of like that. We've got stoners in here, and I got nothing against stoners because I might get stoned with you sometime. If you would allow this old jock to hang out with you, we might get high sometime, someday. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't consider myself to be a stoner because I don't smoke. I haven't smoked pot probably since that day when I did that video. Well, I'm trying to think. I know I took some edibles because I had people bought me edibles and stuff. Passengers. It's kind of funny when I was doing Uber. And really nice people that did that shared their edibles with me. So I did that, but that's even been months and months and months since that. I'm trying to think. The last time I think the last time I like smoked weed was probably, so that's over a year ago, probably, right? So I can't consider myself to be a stoner or a big. I'm getting transmission is unstable due to weak network connection. I'm getting that message thing. So hopefully we're not going into buffering. Hopefully we're not buffering. Um, Roxanne says, Damon Dog tried to change my name to Dr. Rocks. It's taken. Brooklyn SJU, aka Tricks Lou says, and yet Mick Jagger still going amazing. Yeah, he's still out there, yeah, touring and moving around the stage like a spry 60-year-old or 55-year-old, maybe, I don't know. Nick Rich been smoking medical marijuana since 1974, self-prescribed. Michael McAndrew smoked pot? Never. Well, okay. Sometimes. Well, okay. Every day, a little. Well, okay. A lot. Sandy Full, Steaming Dog, all the way with pride. All the way with pride. I'm not sure. I'm kind of mid-thread on that one, I guess. Belfast Bob, if you like mushrooms, you'll like gong. This kind of talk, I wonder if this is what's getting me kicked off of Facebook. Because I got, the other day, because we do stream also on Facebook and on Twitch simultaneously as we're doing this one. And the other day, there was one of my live streams got taken down from Facebook for some reason. I didn't really say why. I don't know why they did it. I guess it violated community standards. I don't know what it was, but it might be this type of talk that we're doing right now. Maybe that's what's getting me kicked off Facebook. I don't know. Which is why Facebook sucks. Mark Zuckerberg, I'm talking to you. Roxanne Epstein says cannabis is medicine. It replaces all the pharmaceutical people with chronic pain and PTSD are forced to take to function. Cannabis helps replace all the meds and provides relief. And laughs is a side effect. Michael McAndrews, the best I ever had was when I planted some old seeds from years ago. I had in a jar. One of the plants looked very different and sort of oriental and oozed resin and smelled wonderful and got me very high. Wow. WW, been for 12 months. Yippee, WW. Happy truck anniversary, I'm supposed to say. Oh, the good old days, the good old glory days, now past. Damon Dog, nowhere in America is it illegal to smoke herb. Totally legal. It's illegal to possess, so I only do shotguns. Belfast Bob, laughing out loud, Trucker John, bloody druggies, laughing out loud. Yeah, this chat is completely turned to total cannabis talk, which is fine. Brooklyn SJU is Trixie LaRue says Zuck sucks. I agree. I agree. He does suck, and not in a good way. Mad Mac says, Gong reminds me of Haight Ashbury singing during the Summer of Love, 1967, Jefferson Airplane, Quicksilver, Messenger, etc. Oh, well, I might like him, because I like me some Jefferson Airplane. You know? Go ask Alice. So here's Dan B. He's got an update on Steven Tyler's health. So Steven Tyler's health is improving after a larynx fracture in 2023. Well, it's been that long. Though a full recovery for touring is not expected, he did an appearance at a festival this past February. Wow. And by appearance, do you mean he actually sang? Or did he just come out and go, hey, everybody? Because, I mean, you know, fractured larynx, that sounds pretty serious, especially if you're a singer. Paul Burrows, remember the Freedom Train? The Freedom Train, yeah. Was that like Gladys Knight and the Four Pips or whatever? I don't know. Like Uncle Andrews, I've been smoking this stuff for over 52 years. The first time I ate some, I did not like it. Now a gummy once in a while is okay. 20 milligram gummy is okay, but put food in your stomach first. Minutes till Boston Brian. Yeah, make sure you guys, if you go over there, say hi from Trucker John. Sometimes I wear his shirt on the show. I mean, it's not like I had a sleepover and I'm wearing one of his shirts. Okay, it's not like that. I mean, I bought a shirt through his merch store, and sometimes I do wear his shirt on my show. I mean, a shirt that I bought from his merch store. Again, it's not his shirt. It's not, like I said, you know what I mean. Roxanne Epstein, how do you fracture your larynx from singing? Maybe, yeah. How do you fracture your larynx? Was it like one of those karate chops to the throat or something? That is a good question. I guess I kind of just assumed it was from singing, but man, that's some hard singing there. Well, he does kind of wail, right? He does kind of, and they do this night after night. I think one of the hardest jobs to do is if you're a touring musician, especially a singer, but even for all of them, if you're doing 300 shows a year or whatever, however many they do, some of them at the height of their popularity, maybe even more than 300 shows, and they go on a tour, and some of these tours are more than a year. Sometimes they'll do a North American leg, and then a European leg, and then an Asian leg, and a South American leg, and the same tour could be 2 or 3 years, And I've always thought that must be you better fucking love music and singing your songs over and over again, even if they're your own songs and you love your own songs. I'm sure they do, but you got to sing basically the same fucking songs every night, almost night after night after night for years on end. It better be more than just doing it for the money and the fame. You better have a passion for music, or else you're going to drive yourself fucking insane. Maybe that's why a lot of these rock stars, kind of go off the rails, because I can't imagine doing it. Like, it's one thing to, you sing to the radio, you sing, you're doing your housework and you're singing and you like to sing, or you sing in the church choir, or you do karaoke every now and then. That's one thing. But and I think a lot of us, at least I kind of fantasize about being a rock star or whatever, but it's more than that. You can't just fantasize about it, or you got to realize that if you ever did do it, you better fucking have a deep passion for music and for singing those songs every goddamn fucking night, over and over and over and over again. I mean, it must get like hell after a while. when you do the same thing over and over and over again. But again, if you're successful like Aerosmith and you're bringing in, multi millions of dollars every year or whatever, that can kind of sweeten the deal, of course. But it can't be just for the money. You've got to have a passion for it, or you would never survive as long as like Aerosmith or any of them, the Stones, unless it was just a part of you. It's really it's really just a part of your fabric to be a singer and a rock star, a performer like that. But I've always thought, that it must be really tougher than we think. Like I said, we just sort of fantasize about, I'd love to be a rock star, without thinking about, how difficult it probably is. And I don't mean like, they'll pour them, there are rewards if you're successful, like they are. Not every band is successful. We know that, but not everyone makes it. But if you do, you are rewarded pretty handsomely. But it's, like I said, it's got to be more than just that, or else you'll never really last. Anyhow, that little spiel. Now, WW says screaming. Obviously, you're a snob. You don't like Aerosmith. You don't like rock. You're into like church music and shit like that. So whatever, dude. Non-useful TJ, you're a lightweight with THC. Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, I guess so. Belfast Bob eating the microphone. Don't know what that's about. Mrs. Spock, be funny to do a mockumentary about finding the Zuck survival shelter in Hawaii, like on a safari through the jungle with the Robin Leach voice. Wonder how close you would get. WW, so many singers have used their voices. Just look at Vince Neil. That dude cannot sing anymore with Motley Crue. He keeps trying, keeps getting out there, but from what I've heard from clips and things, the guy's horrible. And really should not even try to perform at a paying gig where people pay to see him. He's shot. He is shot. Sunnyfold says, my stepdad, his favorite color was orange. I like your orange shirt. Well, thank you. This is my old Apple Valley High School. This is a reunion shirt, high school reunion shirt. But these were our colors were orange and black, basically. Yeah, WW says even cover bands have to do that. Play America's Top 40 classics every night. Gets boring. You do it for the money. Well, like I said, if you're only doing it for the money, then you're not going to last. You're not going to have longevity or success. I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you're only doing it for the money, I'm sure. I didn't say money wasn't a part of it. But if you're only doing it for the money, then either you're not going to last, or I don't think you're going to be as good as you could have been. There has to be some passion there. There has to be some love of that profession. But I never did say money wasn't a factor. WW Johnny Mathis said to really love his own music. Good. I think you should love your own music. There's nothing wrong with loving your own music. Mad Mac, I saw Eminem singing with Steven Tyler. It was epic. Boston Epstein, Boston Brian, ready to about start. Yeah, guys, a couple more minutes, and we should do that. We should do a Boston Trucker John raid over to Boston Brian. We almost got 2 hours in. Anyhow, David Dog, take care, y'all. Thank you, Trucker John and Mod Love, heading to Boston Brian. David Dog, when you go over there, make sure you say the magic words. This is a Trucker John raid, or something to that effect. WW, I did it for the money until I quit, and I sang rock and roll and blues. Don't be a jerk. I can't help myself, W. I just can't help myself. There's Jolie, Trucker John raid at Boston Brian's. There's the link. When you go over there, make sure you say this is Trucker John raid. Like Andrews, I'm going over there. Paul Burrows, I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. Little Joan Jett over there. She was just here in Vegas. I don't know if she's still here or not, but she was performing in Vegas. WW Hoo Hoo music hasn't started. Mad Mac, new Eminem song is called Free America, and it's also a video on YouTube. Is that the one I saw? It's kind of got all AI, and it's like him, and it's kind of like a spoof of Predator, I guess, or whatever. Something like that. It's a little something like that. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and do the outro. So if anyone who's going to Boston Brian, make sure you send him my regards. Send Boston Brian my regards. You know what I mean? All right, guys, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. I don't know, this thing kind of pisses me off. No time. No time. No time. Got no time. Okay, we're going to do that. All right, so, but we do quick words of wisdom, maybe? If you guys want to do this before you jump over to Boston Brian and say, hey, Trucker John Rain over there. Remember, guys, here's our, get the pen, paper out, write this down. Today's words of wisdom are as follows. So just remember.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. All screwed up, oh shit, I knew who I tried to kill. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. Gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live it's time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Sugar John, on the road he rides, live streaming all through the nights. From politics to pop culture he speaks. No topic is off limits, nothing is weak. From Vegas to the highways, he'll never tire. Shouting about food, talking about desire. He's the rebel of the asphalt, the king of the night. With a microphone in his hand, he's ready to ignite. Freedom is his fuel, passion in his soul. Gotta express himself, gotta take control. Moving through the country, keeping it real, no filter, no holding back, nothing to conceal. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing